Hi guys, good day. It's me, Teacher MJ. Our topic for today class, it's all about transforming each of the following equations into a quadratic equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And then later on, we find the value of a, b, and c as well as the roots. So without further ado, let's do this topic. So once again class, we already answered numbers 1 and 2 in the part 1 of our video. We answered this equation. Alright, so feel free to see the video class. I will just put the link on the description down below with regards to the part 1 of our video class. We answered numbers 1 and 2. Alright, this time class we'll be answering number 3 and 4. And for number 4 class, this will be quite tricky. So do not be worried class, we will be answering this one step by step. So if you have some equations or rational equations that you want to be answered, go ahead, leave a comment in our YouTube channel as well as in our Facebook channel, same name with our YouTube channel. So we will be answering that one. Alright, so let's start with number 3. So once again class, if you have these rational equations, the thing that you will do is we need to eliminate the denominators. We need to remove this denominators class. Because it's hard for us to solve this one if we have the denominators. We have the denominators. So how to remove the denominators, sir? We just need to find class the LCM. What is LCM, sir? The least common multiple. Alright, let's copy first the equation. 2x squared over 4 plus 20x over 5 equals 10. So what would be the LCM of 4 and 5? The least common multiple of 4 and 5. Now, during your elementary years class, if you still remember, if the teacher will ask you to find the LCM or the multiples of 4 and 5, you need to get the multiples of 4, right? What are the multiples of 4 class? If you still remember, during your elementary years. Of course, you will do it like this, right? 4, 8, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20, and so on. These are the multiples of 4. Once again, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 5 is 20. And for the multiples of 5, that would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and so on. How do you get this multiples, sir? 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15, 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times 5 is 25. So these are the multiples of 4 and 5. Now if you want to get the LCM, the least common multiple, you check the multiple class, the least number that is common for 4 and 5, that would be 20. Right? That's how you get the least common multiple class. But it will take time if you do it this way. So the thing that you just need to remember class, you do it this way class. What would be the least number? What would be the least number that you can divide that number by 4 and 5? Okay, what would be the least number, sir, that you can divide that number by 4 and 5? Sir, is it 10? Nope. 10, we cannot divide 10 by 4. We can divide 10 by 5, but we cannot divide 10 by 4. You will get a decimal answer. So, therefore, you check. How about 20, sir? Yep, 20, we can divide it by 4. And 20, we can also divide it by 5. So that's the thing that you do, class. No need to write the LCM because it will take time if you do it this way. Alright, I hope you understand, class, how to find the LCM. Now, once you have the LCM, class, you multiply the LCM by this equation. So you multiply 20 by this equation. Alright, so, and then you distribute. Once you get the LCM, you distribute, you multiply. So this will be 20 times this equation. So 20 times this equation, 2x squared over 4 plus, so 20 times this equation, you distribute class. 20 times this equation, so that will be 20 times 20x over 5 equals, then 20 times this equation. 20 times 10 or 10 times 20, that's okay class. 10 times 20 or 20 times 10. Alright, and then once after you distribute, you check class. Can we divide, before multiplying 20 times this equation, you check class. Can we divide 20 by 4? Yep, we can divide 20 by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So we can now cancel this 4. And then we can reduce this 1 by 5. Once again, before multiplying, you check first if we can divide the numerator by the denominator. Yep, we can divide. 20 divided by 4 is 5, and we just eliminated the denominator. That's why, class, we need to find the LCM. We just eliminated the denominator. How about this one, class? Can we divide 20 by 5? Yep, we can divide 20 by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4. And we just eliminated the denominator. So that's the thing there, class. You find the LCM to eliminate the denominator. So this will be, you multiply now, 5 times 2x squared. So we just remove the denominator 4. So multiply 5 times 2x squared. That would be 10x squared. Then positive 4 times 20x, that would be 80x, equals 20 times 10, that is 200. Just add 1 0, class, in 20. If you multiply it by 10, by a number 10, just add 1 0. So 20 times 10, that's 200. Alright, and then we need to transform this equation into standard form, this equation. So all equations will be on the left of this equal sign. So therefore, we need to transpose this 200 from right to left. Okay? So once you transfer an equation from this equal sign, you always change the sign, class. Do not forget this one. Once you transfer an equation from this equal sign, you always change the sign. This is positive 200. It will be negative 200. So it will be 10x squared plus 80x. Then transpose 200 from right to left. You change the sign. This will be negative 200. Then equals 0. Alright. So we have the standard form now of the equation. Okay, check the equation, plus all of the equations will be on the left of this equal sign. So we already have the standard form. Now, before telling you that this answer will be your final answer, you check the equation first, class. Once again, before finding the value of A, B, and C, you check the equation if we can reduce. Okay, you check the equation, class, if we can reduce. What do you mean by that, sir? You check the equation, class, if there is a divisible number by every term. Okay, by 10x squared, by 80x, by 200. Is there a number, class, divisible by 10, 80, and 200 that we can divide it by 10, 80, and 200? Yep, we can divide it by 10, right? Can we divide 10 by 10? Yep. Can we divide 80 by 10? Yep. Can we divide 200 by 10? Yep. That's correct. We can divide this first term, second term, and third term by 10. Okay, if we can reduce, we need to reduce this one, class. Sir, is it mandatory? Yep, that's actually mandatory, class. In quadratic equation, if you can reduce the equation by a particular number, you need to reduce, class. Why is that, sir? Because in factoring, class, it's hard for you to factor the quadratic equation if the number before the quadratic term, before this x squared, is greater than 1. It's hard for you to factor this equation, class. That's why if you can reduce, you need to reduce, class. I hope you understand this one. If you can reduce, you always reduce the equation to the lowest term. Alright, so we can reduce this one by 10. Divide it by 10, divide it by 10, divide it by 10. So 10 divided by 10, so we can cancel this out. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Okay, you can actually put 1x squared. So 10 divided by 10 is 1, copy x squared. You can actually put 1x squared, that's okay. But understood, class, that there's 1 before x squared, so no need to write. So let's just remove 1 class. X squared and 1x squared is just the same. Alright, and then 80 divided by 10, that is 8, plus 8x, copy x. Negative 200 divided by 10, so negative divided by positive is negative. 200 divided by 10, that is 20, then equals 0. Alright, so check, can we reduce 1? So we have 1, 8, and 20. Nope, we cannot reduce this one. So this will be our final answer. Alright, that's it, class. That's our equation, class. X squared plus 8x minus 20. And our A, so we can now find the value of A. So our A is beside x squared, understood to be 1. So let me just write A here. So our A for number 3 beside x squared, that is 1. Our B is beside x. X with the exponent of 1, we call it the linear term. So our B is beside x, the linear term. So our B is 8. And our C is the number, the constant. negative 20. Alright, so we have the value of a, b, and c. So let's find the roots, class. So to get the roots, you need to factor this out. So let me copy the equation x squared plus 8x minus 20 equals 0. So you find the roots, class. You think of a number, so you copy this constant 20, negative 20. You think of a number, class, that when you multiply the two numbers, you will get 20 or negative 20. At the same time, when you combine, you will get positive 8. Of course, that would be 10 and 2, right? Okay, 10 and 2. Now, once again, if you do it in the long way, you write it this way, class, 20. Once again, if you want to know more about factoring, I will just put the link, class, in the description down below with regards to factoring. You do it this way, class, in a long way. What are the factors of 20? Of course, that would be 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5, right? These are the factors of 20. So, you think of two numbers that when you multiply, you will get 20. So, these are the numbers. When you combine, when you add or subtract, you will get 8. Of course, for 1 and 20, if we add 20 plus 1, that's 21. If we subtract, 20 minus 1 is 19. Therefore, we cannot use this one. Same, let's try 2 and 10. 2 plus 10 is 12. But 10 minus 2, that's 8. Therefore, we can use this numbers. For 4 and 5, 4 plus 5 is 9. 5 minus 4 is 1. Therefore, we cannot use this one because we need to have 8. We only have 2 and 10. Now, since this is negative 20, one number should be negative because positive times negative is negative. Now, since we have positive 8, therefore, we need to have negative 2 and positive 10. Now, you will be asking, why is that, sir? Negative 2 and positive 10. Because if you multiply 10 times negative 2, we will get negative 20, right? And if we combine 10 plus negative 2, okay, 10 plus negative 2, if the signs are not the same, you subtract. 10 minus 2 is 8, and then you copy the sign of the larger number, which is positive 10. So, positive 8. Therefore, we will get this answer. So, our factors, class, will be 10 and negative 2. Alright, so, once again, class, this is factoring. I hope you remember this one. So, our factors will be x plus 10 and x minus 2 equals 0. And then, to find the roots, you equate this one into 0. So, it will be x plus 10 equals 0. The other one, x minus 2 equals 0. And then, to get the value of x, you transpose 10 from left to right. This is positive. It will be negative. X equals negative 10. Same with 2. You transpose. This is negative. It will be positive. X equals positive 2. Once again, to get the roots, you transpose this 10 from left to right. Change the sign, class. This is positive. It will be negative. This is negative 2. It will be positive 2. That's it, class. That's the answer for number 3. All set for number 3. Okay, so we have the equation. This is our equation. X squared plus 8x minus 20 equals 0. We have the a, b, and c. Okay, a is 1, b is c. B is 8, c is negative 20. And we have the roots. All set for number 3. So if you have some questions with number 3, go ahead. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. So let's answer number 4, class. And number 4, class, will be quite tricky. So we need to answer this one step by step. Alright, you pause the video, class. I'll be erasing this part. Alright, so for number 4, class, we need to do it step by step because this will be quite tricky, class, for number 4. Alright, so number 4, we copy the equation here on the middle part. 3 plus 16 over x squared minus 1. So we need to answer this one, class, step by step for number 4 because this will be quite tricky for number 4. 8 over x minus 1. Alright, so this is the last number, number 4. I hope you're still with me, class, for number 4. Alright, number 4. So once again, first thing to do is you need to find the LCM. What would be the least common multiple of x squared minus 1 and x minus 1? Once again, class, you think it this way. what would be the factors that we can divide that equation by this x squared minus 1 and x minus 1? Once again, that's how we did the LCM a while ago, class, for the numbers. Just to remember, class, for 5 and 4, we think of a number that we can divide that number by 5 and 4, and we select 20, right, a while ago for number 3. Now this time, since we have an equation, it's not a number, we have an equation, you think it this way. What would be the equation that we can divide that equation by x squared minus 1 and x minus 1? Alright, so you find an equation that we can divide that equation by x squared minus 1 and x minus 1. Now, you check, class. Is x minus 1, okay, is x minus 1 is as a factor of x squared minus 1? What would be the factor of this one, class? X squared minus 1. Now, for x squared minus 1, class, if you still remember, okay, x squared minus 1. Okay, just write it here, class. Okay, 8, that is 8 over x minus 1. Okay, now what would be the factor, class, of x squared minus 1? Do you still remember, class, x squared minus 1? Just write it here, class. We don't have enough space, class. Okay, let me just 3 plus 6. Okay, 3 plus 16 over x squared minus 1 equals 8 over x minus 1. I need a space right here, class, because we need to get the factor of this x squared minus 1. X squared minus 1. Do you still remember, class, the difference of two squares? If we have the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c, and if you want to factor this out, and you don't have the value of your linear term, bx. Example, class, you have x squared minus 25. How would you factor this out? Now, to factor this out, class, if you don't have the value of your b, and you have c, and your c is a perfect square, okay, your c is a perfect square, you need to recall, class, the difference of two squares. What do you mean by that, sir? Do you still remember, class, a squared minus b squared? If we have a squared minus b squared, b is a perfect square, and a is a perfect square, we can factor this out, class, by a plus b and a minus b. Just remember this one, a plus b and a minus b. So simply get the square root of a. Once again, to factor this out, you can just simply get the square root of a squared. The square root of a squared, that is a, you copy 2a. And the square root of b squared, that's 2b, you copy 2b. Then plus minus. Okay? So this is the factor of this equation. The factor of this equation, that would be a plus b and a minus b. So therefore, if we have x squared minus 25, we can write this one, class. Okay, you put 2 parentheses, then the square root of x squared is x. So the square root of x squared, you can cancel this out, is x. And the square root of 25 is 5, 5 and 5. And then you copy plus minus. Even if we check this one, class, x plus 5 multiplied by x minus 5, we will get this answer, class. Let's check, class, using the FOIL method. First, x times x, that would be x squared. Outer, x times negative 5, that's negative 5x. Inner, okay, 5 times x, positive times positive, that's positive 5x. Last, positive 5 times negative 5, that's negative 25. And then you combine like terms, class. X squared, negative 5 and positive 5, it will be 0. Cancel this out. Minus 25. You get the same answer, class. So therefore, if we don't have the linear term, we have the quadratic term, and we have the constant, and the constant is a perfect square, we can factor this out by this. The difference of two squares. Okay, I hope you remember this one, class. So therefore, this one, x squared minus 1, we can factor this out by x plus 1 and x minus 1. Yep. Sir, can we factor this out by x plus 1 and x minus 1? Yep. That's correct. We can factor this out by this equation. Even if we check this one by FOIL method, go ahead. Let's check by FOIL method. Is 1 a perfect square? Yup, 1 is a perfect square, class. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 1 is equals to 1 because 1 times 1 is 1. Alright? So even if we check this one using the FOIL method, x times x, first, x squared. Outer, x times negative 1. So x times negative 1, that's negative x. Positive times negative is negative. Inner, 1 times x, that's positive x. Positive times positive is positive. Copy x. Last, positive 1 times negative 1, that's negative 1. Combining like terms, we can cancel this out. Negative x plus x, that is 0. And that would be x squared minus 1. Alright. So therefore, okay, I hope you get this one, class. Therefore, the factor of this equation, okay, x squared minus 1 is this one. Now, once again, to cancel the denominators, we find the LCM. What will be the least common multiple? What will be the equation, class, that we can divide that equation by x squared minus 1 and x minus 1. Therefore, our equation or our LCM will be x squared minus 1. Why is that, sir? Because we can divide x squared minus 1 by x squared minus 1. X squared minus 1 divided by x squared minus 1, you can cancel that out. That would be equals to 1. Alright, and then can we divide x squared minus 1 by x minus 1? Yep, we can divide x squared minus 1 by x minus 1. Why is that, sir? Okay, why is that, sir? Because, as we all know, that x squared minus 1 is the same with x plus 1 and x minus 1, right? We checked that a while ago. That x squared minus 1 is the same with x plus 1 and x minus 1. X squared minus 1 divided by x minus 1, you can just simply cancel this out. And the remaining will be x plus 1. That's why, class, our LCM in this equation, that would be, okay, so our LCM for this equation, that would be x squared minus 1. X squared minus 1. Why is that again, sir? Because we can divide this x squared minus 1 by this equation. We can also divide x squared minus 1 by this equation because this equation, x minus 1, is a factor of x squared minus 1. I hope you get this one, class. I hope you understand this one. So once you get the LCM, you can now distribute, class. Alright, distribute. You multiply. So this will be x squared minus 1 times 3. So copy. X squared minus 1 times 3. I hope you're still with me, class. You understand that one a while ago. Then you multiply this one, x squared minus 1 times this equation, plus x squared minus 1 times 16 over x squared minus 1. Quite tricky, class, but I hope you're still with me. Equals 8 over x minus 1 multiplied by, okay, x squared minus 1. Alright, and then you simplify this equation. So you distribute this one, class. You can distribute. Okay, you can distribute this one. 3 times x squared, that would be 3x squared. 3 times negative 1, that's negative 3. Alright, and then this one, class, can we cancel this one? Yep, we can cancel this out. Remember, class, x squared minus 1 divided by x squared minus 1 is 1. So you can cancel this out. And the remaining will be plus 16 equals, so can we divide x squared minus 1 by x minus 1? Yep, we can divide x squared minus 1 by x minus 1. What would be the answer, sir? Okay, let's divide. X squared minus 1 is the same with this one. So x plus 1 times x plus 1 times x minus 1 is just the same with this one. Okay, this is the same, class. This is just the same. So we divide x squared minus 1. So this is our x squared minus 1 divided by x minus 1. So we can cancel this out. So the remaining, class, will be x plus 1. So 8 times x plus 1. So x squared minus 1 divided by x minus 1, that would be x plus 1. The answer is x plus 1. Alright, I hope you understand this one, class. Where did we get x plus 1? Once again, x squared minus 1 is just the same with x plus 1 and x minus 1. We divide it by x minus 1. We cancel this out. The remaining will be x plus 1. Alright, and then we copy this one, 3x squared Can we simplify this one, class? Can we combine like terms? Yep, we can combine like terms because these are all numbers. So negative 3 plus 16. If the signs are not the same, you subtract. Okay, negative 3, positive 16, you subtract. 16 minus 3 is 13. And then you copy the sign of the larger number. Okay, 16 minus 3 is 13. Copy the sign of 16 because 16 is greater than 3. We have positive 13 equals, you distribute 8 times x, that would be 8x. 8 times 1, that's positive 8. Alright, and then you transform this equation into standard form. So copy 3x squared. So copy 3x squared. Then transpose 8x. Linear term comes first. Bx comes first. Transpose 8x. This is positive 8x. It will be negative 8x. Copy 13. Then transpose 8. This is positive 8. It will be negative 8. Equals 0. Alright. Can we combine 13 and 8? Yep. We can combine 13 and 8. And the final answer for the equation, 3x squared minus 8x. 13 minus 8 class. 13 minus 8 is 5. Plus 5 equals 0. That's it, class. That's our equation. Can we reduce, class, 3, 8, and 5? Nope. Is there a divisible number by 3, 8, and 5? Nope. There's no other number. That would be our final answer, class, for the equation. Alright, so that's the equation, class. So you pause the video, class. I will be writing the equation in this part because we need to find the roots. And to find the roots of this equation, class, will be quite tricky because the value of the number before x squared is greater than 1. And if it's greater than 1, class, there's another solution for that. It will be quite tricky. So you pause the video. I will be erasing this part. I hope you understand this one, class. So our final equation will be 3x squared minus 8x plus 5 equals 0. Alright, so let me erase this one. Alright, so quite tricky, right? Quite tricky for number 4, right? So I hope you understand that one, class. So equation will be 3x squared minus 8x plus 5 equals 0. Of course, our A beside x squared, that is 3. Our B is beside x. So our B beside x, that would be 8. Alright, and our B is negative 8, not 8 plus. We have negative 8. And our C is 5. Alright, now to factor this out, class, if the number before x squared is greater than 1, the thing that we will do, class, is we need to find the product of A and C, and once we get the product, we can now factor the equation. Alright, so A times C. Once again, class, you will do it this way if the number before x squared is greater than 1. If it's greater than 1, you do it this way, class. This will be quite complicated, class. Alright, so do not be worried, we do it step by step. So A and C. A times C, class. A times C, so our A is 3 and our C is 5. So A times C, or 3 times 5, that would be 15. So the product is 15. Now after you get the product of A and C, you can now do the factors, class. You find two numbers that when you multiply the two numbers, you will get 15. And when you combine the two numbers, you will get negative 8. So for the factors of 15, of course, for 15, that would be 1 and 15. 1 times 15 is 15. And 3 times 5, right? 3 times 5 is 15. No other factors, class, for 15. That's only 1 and 15. 3 times 5. If we combine, do we get 8? Okay, negative 8. For 1 and 15, if we combine, 15 plus 1 is 16. If we subtract, 15 minus 1 is 14. Therefore, we cannot use this one. For 3 and 5, 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 minus 3 is 2. But we can get 8. But since this is negative 8, okay, once again, positive 3 and positive 5, that's positive 8. But since we have negative 8, therefore, it should be negative 3 and negative 5. Why is that, sir? Okay, why is that, sir? Because negative 3 times negative 5, that's equals to positive 15, right? And our answer for A times C is positive 15. Positive 3 times positive 5, that's positive 15. Okay? Negative 3 times negative 5, that's positive 15. If we combine negative 3 plus negative 5, if the signs are the same, okay, if the signs are the same, we have negative 3, negative 5. If the signs are the same, you copy the sign, then you just add the number. 3 plus 5, that is 8. Negative 8. So therefore, our factors will be negative 3 and negative 5. Once you get the factor class, you will write these factors in this equation. How to do that one, sir? First thing to do is you copy 3x squared. So copy 3x squared. Then copy negative 3x. Then copy negative 5x. Just put x class on negative 3 and negative 5. Why is that, sir? Because if you combine this one, negative 3x and negative 5x, it's just the same with negative 8x. Once again, if the signs are the same, copy the sign, then add the number. 3 plus 5, that's 8. Then copy x. So negative 3x and negative 5x is just the same with negative 8x. Alright, so negative 3x minus 5x, then copy, plus 5 equals 0. And then next step, class, is we do the groupings. So that's why, class, I told you a while ago, this will be quite complicated for number 4. But just stay with me, class. We do it step by step. Next step is we do the grouping. So we group this one. Do not include this negative sign. Alright, and this one. So this will be, alright, we group this first term and second term, third term and fourth term. Now you check this one, class. Is there a factor of 3? Okay, can we factor this out by 3? Yep, we can factor this out by 3. Can we factor this out by x? Yep, we can factor this out by x because they have both same x. We have x squared and x. So to factor the variable, class, just simply copy the variable with the least degree, with the least exponent, class. Okay, once again, x squared and x. To factor this out, you just select the variable with the least exponent. So we select x because the exponent of x is just 1. So 3x. We can factor this out by 3x. And then we divide, class. 3x squared divided by 3x. Alright, 3x squared divided by 3x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. X squared divided by x, simply copy x. X squared divided by x, you subtract the exponent, class. X squared minus x raised to the power of 2 minus 1. Understood that there's 1 here. So x, 2 minus 1, that would be x. X squared divided by x, subtract the exponent 2 minus 1. That would be x raised to the power of 1. Alright, so, or x. Once again, I hope you're not confused, class. X squared divided by x, copy x, and then subtract the exponent 2 minus 1. That would be x raised to the power of 1 or x. Okay, I hope you got that one. And then, negative 3x divided by 3x, negative 3x divided by 3x. Negative 3 divided by 3, that's negative 1. Negative divided by positive is negative. 3 divided by 3 is 1. X divided by x, cancel. Alright, so negative 1. You can also check your answer, class. If it's correct factor, you multiply, class. 3x times x, that would be 3x squared. 3x times negative 3, that's negative 3x. So therefore, your factor, this factor is correct. Okay, check one. Check this one, class. Same. Alright, and then we factor this out. So copy negative sign. Then you factor this out, class. What would be the factor of negative 5x and 5? Can we factor this out by 5? Yep, we can factor this out by 5. 5 can be divided by 5 as well as 5. Can we factor this out by x? Nope. We cannot factor this out by x because this 5 here, the last term doesn't contain x. So we can only factor this one by 5. Then you put parentheses, then you divide. Negative 5x, okay, negative 5x divided by negative 5. So negative 5x divided by negative 5. So negative 5 divided by negative 5, that's positive 1. X divided by none, simply copy x. So x. Alright, and then positive 5 divided by negative 5. Positive 5 divided by negative 5. So 5 divided by 5. Positive divided by negative is negative. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So minus 1 equals 0. Alright, so check class. If we get the same answer, we multiply negative 5x times x, that's negative 5x. Negative 5x, negative 5 times negative 5 times x, that's negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 1, that's positive 5. Therefore, this factor is correct. Alright, now once you have the same equation inside the parentheses, so we can equate this one. So equate this one first outside the parentheses, this one and this one. So this will be 3x minus 5. And the other one, okay, 3x minus 5 and the other one, equate this one inside the parentheses. They have the same class. If this is the same, therefore if they are the same, we can just equate this one. X minus 1, we can just write this one as one class. X minus 1 and x minus 1. This one. So equate outside the parentheses 3x minus 5 and the other one, this equation class. It's just the same. We can equate this one class. X minus 1, copy, just only copy x minus 1 class equals 0. And then, we're almost done class. Equate this one into 0. This will be, equate this one into 0. This will be 3x minus 5 equals 0. The other one, x minus 1 equals 0. To get the value of x, you transpose 5 from left to right. This will be 3x equals 5. The other one, transpose x, this negative 1 from left to right. This will be x equals positive 1. Alright, and then to get the value of x for this first root, divide by 3, divide by 3. And our x equals 5 over 3. X sub 1 is 5 over 3. The other root is positive 1. That's it, class. All set for number 4. Quite tricky, right? For number 4. Okay, quite tricky for number 4, class. We have the value of equation 3x squared minus 8x plus 5. Our a is 3. Our b is negative 8. And our c is positive 5. And the roots, x sub 1 is 5 over 3. And x sub 2 is positive 1. So quite tricky, class, for numbers 3 and 4. So I hope you learned something new today, class. So we're all set for number 3 and 4. So once again, if you have some questions with regards to these equations, general rational equations or quadratic equations, go ahead, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can comment in our Facebook channel as well as in our YouTube channel. Go ahead, class. We will be answering that one. So once again, I hope you learned something new today, class. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. You share it to your friends, class, and to your classmates, especially to those students who are really struggling in solving mathematical equation. Once again, class, this is Teacher MJ. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you have a great day, class. Goodbye for now. Bye-bye.